Welcome, my fiery Aries friends, both the longtime warriors of the Zodiac and the newly awakened souls stumbling across this cosmic corner of the internet. Whether you've followed the stars since dial-up internet or just recently googled "why am I suddenly feeling chaotic and powerful?" you're home now. I'm honored to have you here at Zodiac Talks Tarot, where astrology isn't some fluffy horoscope filler, it's soul work, laced with a little psychology, a pinch of Buddhist wisdom, and more than a few cosmic giggles along the way. And trust me, this week's message? It's not your average astrological forecast. It's a full-blown spiritual summons. A karmic thunderclap. A divine wake-up call for the chosen ones, and yes, that includes you. Let's start where the fire's hottest. Mars, your cosmic drill sergeant and ruling planet, is all fired up. And if you've been feeling like you're one espresso shot away from burning down your to-do list or your entire identity, you're not crazy. You're activated. This isn't just restlessness, it's the universe lighting a match under your soul. You're not here to play it safe or stick to the outdated script written by society, family, or your 9th grade guidance counselor. No, Aries, you're here to create yourself, from scratch, with flair, grit, and a little glitter if necessary. And just when you think you've figured out who you are, the universe will hand you a new brush and say, repaint. Now, I get it, choices are everywhere. Doors, paths, portals, Pinterest boards. You might feel like you're standing in front of the cosmic version of a Cheesecake Factory menu, so many options, so little clarity. But here's the plot twist. The GPS you're searching for isn't out there. It's not in Bali, a new job, or a relationship that gives you butterflies and heartburn. The only real map is the one etched into your own inner landscape. Movement, physical, emotional, or spiritual, won't bring lasting peace unless it starts within. Believe me, I've moved cities, changed hairstyles, burned sage, and even tried quitting caffeine. Don't recommend. But the shift you're seeking isn't external. It's an inner relocation, a return to the you that knows, deep down, you were never meant to fit in. You were meant to light the way. So stay with me, Aries. This is just the beginning of your ascent. The year of triumph 2025 isn't asking you to survive, it's daring you to rise. And spoiler alert, you're more than ready. Let me tell you something, Aries, and I say this as someone who's spent a lifetime decoding the symbols of the stars and sitting cross-legged with both psychology textbooks and ancient scrolls of wisdom. You are not just a person walking through this life. You're a walking universe. I mean that literally and energetically. You're not just vibing, your energy is actively pulling in experiences, people, and even strange coincidences, like that ex texting you the moment you finally moved on. Why? Because you've got what I like to call aesthetic magnetism. Even when your outfit looks like a fight between fire and glitter in a blackout closet, people notice. They don't always understand it, but they feel it. And as much as we'd love the world to cheer for every sparkle of our becoming, the truth is some people are silently rooting for your stumble. Why? Because your light makes their shadows nervous. But you keep walking. Trip if you must, but trip in style and with purpose. Now, let's talk about that gnawing discomfort in your gut. You know the one. The restlessness. The sudden urge to change your life at 2 a.m. or start a podcast about reinventing yourself with 0 episodes planned. That's not confusion, Aries, that's divine GPS. The chaos around you? It's not proof you're off track, it's confirmation that the old map no longer fits your upgraded soul. Spirit is rearranging your terrain to fit your expansion. It's like spiritual growing pains, except instead of bones, it's your entire identity stretching. You're not being punished. You're being recalibrated. And, let me tell you, transformation isn't always graceful. Sometimes it looks like crying on the bathroom floor while Googling how to reinvent yourself in 30 days. been there. But here's where it gets deeply sacred. You're not just rewriting your story, you're reflipping the entire script your ancestors handed you. This isn't about carrying forward the family torch. This is about forging an entirely new flame. Aries is cardinal fire, it initiates, it doesn't imitate. You weren't born to walk the well-trodden path. You're here to bulldoze through the jungle with nothing but instinct, courage, and maybe a protein bar. This is your ancestral alchemy, not fixing what came before, but birthing what never existed. You are the first of your line to say, we don't have to suffer just because they did. I choose something new. So, no, you're not lost. You're becoming. And honestly, it's about time. When the star card shows up in a reading, especially for someone like you, Aries, it's not just some fluffy spiritual hallmark moment. It's your cosmic permission slip to realign, recharge, and return to the blueprint of your soul. I say this as someone who has spent years watching planetary patterns, studying the architecture of the psyche, and yes, meditating until my legs went numb. The star doesn't arrive by accident. It comes after the storm. It's that sacred breath after the breakdown, where healing begins and purpose quietly re-emerges. You, my Aries friend, are currently straddling two worlds: the intuitive realm of dreams, symbols, and divine nudges, and the tangible world of laundry piles, overdue bills, and passive-aggressive group chats. And guess what? The magic happens where the two meet. This is your moment to create something, anything that bridges your inner knowing with your outer expression. Stitch something. Paint badly. Garden with reckless abandon. Heck, rearrange your sock drawer, but do it with intention. When you align your physical world with your inner clarity, even the mundane becomes magical. And yes, even that sad single sock that's been living under your bed for months now might be trying to teach you a spiritual lesson. Probably about letting go. Now, let's get one thing straight. You didn't incarnate under the sign of cardinal fire to take someone else's blueprint and follow it like a GPS. No, you're the one drawing the map while running full speed into the unknown. So if someone's trying to box you in with their rational ideas, their slow and steady nonsense, or their unsolicited opinions about your life path, thank them kindly, and then let them choke on the ash cloud of your unapologetic reinvention. This is hangman energy, not because you're stuck, but because others are desperately trying to hang on to an outdated version of you. You are untethered by design. And here's the most beautiful, and sometimes loneliest, truth of all: outgrowing people is a spiritual flex. Your wisdom, fueled by experience, pain, intuition, and divine timing, isn't going to make sense to everyone. Some people will call you lost. Others will say you're too intense, too emotional, or my personal favorite, too much. But let them talk. You're not becoming too much, you're becoming more of yourself. Whether that means leaving old friendships, familiar zip codes, or even your own outdated coping mechanisms, so be it. Growth isn't supposed to fit. It's supposed to stretch you. And Aries? You wear expansion like a badge of honor. Let me tell you something, Aries, and I say this not just as an astrologer but as someone who's spent decades swimming through birth charts, analyzing archetypes, decoding karmic threads, and occasionally laughing at the absurdity of cosmic timing. You're not just intuitive anymore. You're stepping fully into High Priestess mode. And no, this isn't some Instagram spirituality buzzword moment. This is the real deal. You're becoming a spiritual gatekeeper. A threshold guardian. The one who stands at the intersection between seen and unseen, whispering truths you didn't learn you remembered. Working with spirit is no longer a hobby, a vibe, or something you do when Mercury's in retrograde and your ex texts out of nowhere. It's your vocation. You're not just reading signs, you are one. And let's talk about softness for a minute. Because if you're like most Aries, you've been conditioned to believe power comes from pushing, charging, and winning. But surprise spirit has another lesson: softness isn't weakness. It's sacred power in disguise. That gentleness that's been emerging in you lately? That compassionate edge to your once blunt honesty? That moment you chose to breathe instead of fight? That's spiritual maturity. That's your fire learning to glow instead of burn everything down. And honestly, it suits you. Now, speaking of burn downs, let's move into the next terrain, the death of illusions and the birth of legacy. It's okay to grieve, Aries. In fact, I encourage it. As someone who has guided many souls through their Saturn returns, Pluto transits, and dark nights of the soul, I can tell you that grief is sacred. But here's the catch: you don't build your next life on the ashes of what was. You bury what needs to be buried, offer a prayer, and rise. The year of triumph 2025 isn't interested in you staying small, nostalgic, or soaked in old pain. It came to roar and it wants you to roar with it. Spirit says no more crying over what has already transformed. The tears were valid. The lessons were real. But your future isn't behind you. You've got a new timeline to write, one built on truth, courage, and actual soul alignment, not performance, not ego, not comfort. And then comes one of the most powerful plot twists of this journey: the truth bombs from the past. When the Ace of Swords teams up with the Six of Cups, you get lightning clarity about who you were and why you never quite fit into the mold. For some of you, this insight might stem from childhood. Maybe you always felt like the weird one, the too sensitive one, the too intense one. Maybe you were the kid asking existential questions during recess while everyone else was trading snacks. And if it wasn't this life, maybe the clarity is coming from a past life, a karmic thread finally snapping into place. Either way, what's clear now is this: you were never meant to blend in. You were born to redefine the mold entirely. The beauty of this revelation? It gives you permission to stop apologizing for your difference. It helps you reclaim the parts of yourself you once tried to shrink or edit out to be acceptable. It also allows you to see that your uniqueness was never the problem, it was the proof. Proof that you came here with a different assignment. A sacred one. So Aries, as you step deeper into your priestess energy, as you grieve without getting stuck, and as you remember the truth that's always lived in your bones, know this: your journey isn't about finding a path. It's about becoming the path. And the world? It's already watching. Let me leave you with something that, in all my years as an astrologer, spiritual counselor, and curious human just trying to decode the sacred chaos of existence, I've come to believe deeply: what starts as a whisper inside you often turns out to be the very thing that rewrites your timeline. That tiny creative spark? That fleeting idea you had in the shower, the one you brushed off because it didn't make sense? That's not just a cute moment of inspiration. It's sacred architecture. Your intuition, your quirky passions, your art, these are not hobbies. They're soul blueprints. They're seeds from the universe, handed to you because only you have the fire to grow them into something the world's never seen before. So don't dismiss them. Nurture them. Water them with courage. And if you're still telling yourself, "Oh, but I'm not creative," Aries, please. You created your way out of 5 different emotional meltdowns just this month. You're already an artist of survival, transformation, and sass. And here's where it gets beautifully wild: within the next 3 months, the cosmic curriculum has you graduating into elite soul energy. We're talking the High Priestess, the Hangman, and the Hierophant all in one timeline. That's not just character growth. That's soul mastery. You become a living embodiment of wisdom, not the kind you read in books, but the kind etched into your aura through experience. You're not throwing spells around, you are the spell. Your voice calms storms. Your silence teaches. Your vision lights fires. You're entering your magician era, and baby, it looks good on you. So here's my final word to you, Aries, from one fire starter to another, this is not the time to dim, doubt, or delay. You weren't built for boxes, labels, or playing it safe. You were built to break molds, rewrite destinies, and ignite timelines. You are the chosen one. You are the blueprint and the builder. The spark and the wildfire. And the world doesn't need another copy-paste version of success. It needs your fire. Now go out there and live boldly. Wear your passion like perfume. Laugh loudly, cry honestly, and take risks that make your higher self proud. Enjoy your weird, wonderful, wild life because it was never meant to be ordinary. And if this message spoke to you, if your soul lit up somewhere between the stars and the SAS, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe to my channel, Zodiac Talks Tarot. This is your spiritual home. I'll be here, decoding the cosmos, cheering you on, and reminding you that you're not just part of the story, you're the one writing it.